All right. Looks like we are live. How's it going, everybody? Just jumping on today. Got a couple new things, and I wanted to, have a few sips of them. And why not do it live on a Sunday stream, impromptu like? So we'll wait until a couple folks are able to join us, and we will kick things off. I'll tell you all about these two whiskeys that I got my hands on that are quite exciting. At least I'm hoping so. If history is any indication. One sec. I got my hands. Make sure this is working. Okay. Looks like we are good. And Donner Pass Whiskey's in the house. What's up, buddy? Happy Sunday. I realize my stream might be a little choppy at the moment. Let me know if you run into any issues with the video playback. I think I know what I can do to remedy that. How's your weekend been, Donner Pass? Hope it's been well. I just poured two Kilchoman whiskeys that I've recently got my hands on. And give me just 1 second here. I apologize. Just getting some weird audio feedback on this thing, which I don't quite understand. So give me just a second here. All right. Interesting. Okay. And loved that Laphroaig 16 so much. I got a bottle on the way from the UK. That is awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed that, sir. Okay. That was honestly kind of when it came out, it was showing up around the States for, at least out here on the East, or when I was on the East Coast, for it was a good 4 or 5 months, and then it disappeared, and now it's starting to show up again, but not easy to find. So that's really great that you were able to get yourself one. And it's 48%, right? That one's 48%, and it's like the first fill bourbon, which is what I thought was kind of a interesting twist on that. I wasn't so sure about that bottle at first. You know, it was like an Amazon exclusive for the UK or something like that. But it really did start to shine, especially as the bottle went down a little bit. So I think you probably got, I'll be interested to hear what you think when you just open it, because I think the one I sent you might have been, had been in the oxidized bottle for some time. So we'll see about that. Ren's in the house. How you doing, Ren? Great to see you. Sound is okay. Great. Awesome. Yeah, so basically, over the weekend, I was able to get my hands on two rather unique Kilchoman releases. Kilchoman is a distillery that I've been kind of, back and forth about for quite some time. Some of their stuff has been really good. Other releases of theirs I've not been as impressed with. And so there's something that I kind of shy away from, but periodically just come across some releases that I just can't help myself about. And these were two of them. So what we got here, this is, first of all, I just poured this one, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. This is the Kilchoman B.I.B. Bourbon Influenced Batch. Also makes you think of Bottled and Bond, right? Well, that's exactly what they're trying to go for here. They're going for it's a tribute bottle to American bourbon and Bottled and Bond bourbon specifically. This one has an age statement for a Kilchoman, which is awesome. 9 years. And it has been basically matured in dunnage warehouses in vatted from 5 ex-wheated bourbon casks. So it is bottled at 50%, and it's Homage and respect to the Bottled and Bond. As you know, Bottled and Bond is that 50% ABV. So it's an interesting release. This is a US only release. I'll probably end up doing a full review of this eventually. And it's got this little thing in the corner here that says 9-year maturation, wheated bourbon barrel. One thing I do love about Kilchoman, among a couple things, they tell you like all you need to know about the whiskey that you're getting. It tells you what it's matured in. It tells you, the age statement. It says non-chill filtered natural color right on the bottle. Also says so on the box, which is great. The second one that I got is also another United States only release. This is the USA batch number 5. This one is bottled at 48.3% ABV. And these are like some small batch releases that periodically come out in the US. I know they have some in the UK as well that are like UK only batches. This one, as you can see, looks very similar to the other. But the maturation on this is Sauternes cask, bourbon barrel, and sherry cask. This is 48.3 non-chill natural color. And here it says right on the back of this is the cask influence you're getting. 25% Sauternes cask, 70% bourbon barrel, 5% sherry. So basically, the bourbon and Oloroso, the vatting of the bourbon and Oloroso is from 46%, and then they have a specially selected Sauternes cask, which is at cask strength, and then that's what they vat this with. So there are only 1,260 bottles of this one. So really interesting. It reminds me, so a while back, I had a really positive experience with the batch number 3. And this one also was a triple maturation. This one is 50% port, 47% bourbon barrel, 3% sherry. Also only 1,260 bottles. I was a really big fan of this one. So I'll be curious to see how this one stacks up as we go along here, because I will be opening this one shortly as well. But as for what we got in the glass right now, it is the 9-year-old bottled in bond Kilchoman. And if there's anything else I wanted to tell you guys about. Yeah, so it was the distillation is 2012, bottled 2021. Okay. You get a little bit more of this in the glass. And I'll tell you, so this is a wheated bourbon, not usually one of my favorites. Mostly because wheated bourbon I find to be just kind of sweet. It's not, I don't get the complexity that I tend to get off mash bills of bourbon that are more rye and barley to that extent. But here you go. This is a natural color. That's a 9-year-old. Looks pretty good. Very nice nose. So the first thing I pick up on this, which I think is probably obvious, but also it's stating itself a little bit more than normal, is the amount of peat and smoke here. There is a healthy amount of peat and smoke in this. But underneath it, you have this nice kind of sweet vanilla, bready note. There's a nice kind of, like almost like a sweet honey, like honey toast or something like that. Vanilla. There's a little bit of cinnamon caramel. It's very nice. It's a soft nose, softer than you'd expect. You get the heavy peat smoke, and then you get these soft, nice soft bourbon notes, which again, characteristic of wheated bourbon to some degree. Okay, give it another taste here. Ooh. So again, arrives nice and sweet, toffee, caramel, bourbon-like qualities to it. A little bit of citrus. Then you get this nice hit of peat smoke, but again, unlike with a lot of the younger Kilchomans, this is a bit more rounded. It's not quite as intense per se on the palate. It's impressive. Long finish. Again, cereal grain, honey, light bourbon notes, vanilla, a lot of vanilla. Let's see what other information they have on here. That's about it. Yeah, so like I said, this is a 9-year. I mean, you know, with Kilchoman starting to get older as a distillery, I think you're starting to increasingly see more stuff coming from them that has age statements. They just, you know, there's a vintage 2020 or 2010, which is like a 10-year. Recently, somebody on Instagram shared a photo of a 13-year single cask bottling that they're putting out. I know that they have some other older stuff. So hopefully this is going to start becoming the norm. And this one in particular, solid. This is not incredibly complex, but it's a really nice relaxed sipper if you like a little peat with your wheated bourbon. These were retailing around like $90, so a little bit on the pricey side. It's enjoyable. Ooh, there's a nice fruit note in the background coming out now too. Pear, melon. Let me know if either of you or if anybody in the chat has had this before. I'd be curious. I don't know how many bottles of it there are or how widely distributed this is in the US. It is a collab with Impex, who does a lot of their stuff, a lot of stuff with them. So, yeah, you know, normally they have that like, this is how many bottles we have of it released, but it actually doesn't say anything on this. Let me see. No, it doesn't say how many bottles they put out. So perhaps there will be this will be easy to get your hands on at some point. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Donner Pass, going to have a Kilchoman Christmas. Opened in 2021 PX release, plus 4-ounce samples of a 2019 SDR, 2020 Lochgorm, and the Batch 10 Isla Barley. Wow. Those all sound fantastic. That PX especially. I'll be curious how that one stacks up with the with that new Laphroaig Carchus. Good stuff, man. I loved it. I wasn't sure it was first impression, but Chris Liquorhound was going to make it his Isle of the Year in 2020 until he bought the Octomore 0.3 for twice the price. So it was number 2. There you go. Andrew Page, Jersey. What's up, man? I have the Batch 5 Kilchoman and tempted to buy the bottled and bond, but curious what you think about it. Have you tried or picked up the 2021 Lochgorm yet? I have not, but I'm glad to hear that. The last one I had on the Lochgorm was the 2019, which I was really impressed with. And generally, I just find the Lochgorm to be probably my favorite, like, standard core range thing that they do. I think I've mentioned before, the Saneg has been more hit and miss for me. Mocker Bay is fine. I like it, actually, but the Lochgorm I always felt was like one of their more really, really profound bottlings. But I have not had the new one, so I'll have to check that out. Thinking about the one I had in 2020. Wish I had saved some of the 2020 I had to compare. The 221 wowed me more than I remembered. Okay. Could be just palate change. Sure. Having a side-by-side Glendronach 23-year in the new Argentine, find things jump out. She more like this. Ooh. Tell me more. Tell me what your verdict is going to be on that. All right, so I like I like a lot of things about this. I like the 50% ABV. I like the 9-year maturation. It's non-chill natural, just like everything at Kilchoman, which is awesome. My personal palate doesn't completely go head over heels for the bourbon or the wheated bourbon. So I feel like to some degree the bourbon's like lacking a little bit of depth and robustness, so to speak. And I wonder if to some degree they expect that was going to be kind of evened out by the heavy peaty nature of this. But, you know, it's balanced pretty well. I want to put a little bit of water on this. This is just a much lighter, sweeter Kilchoman than I think I can really say I've had in recent time. Okay. So going in now with water, some of those earthier peat notes are coming through. You're getting some of that soot kind of charcoal. Definitely charcoal. But again, sweet, almost like, buttercream kind of is where the vanilla notes are. It's more in this, like, very much on the sweet side, not a lot of the deeper stuff. The cinnamon, not really detectable. The kind of Christmas spices that you sometimes get up bourbon, not here. Not a lot of oak. It's a little bit, but this is a very smoky and sweet. Dangerously sippable. Nice warming on the back end. Finish is long. Yeah. Okay. This is an interesting one. I think it right now, again, and this is just my personal preference. Wheated bourbon casks, I think, are taking a little bit away from this, because I feel like you have the sweet kind of barley from Kilchoman, and then you're mixing with this wheated bourbon that's kind of like not letting either of them really show themselves too much. But that creamy, nice finish is undeniable. And this is falling right in. I mean, the price on this is a little tough at that $90 or whatever, 95. 325, something like that so far. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I guess I'm just wanted a little bit more. It's a little bit subtler than I would have expected. I know that sounds strange saying this about a whiskey that's peated, but subtlety seems to be coming through on this, and so it's a nice, relaxed, sweet sipping kind of bourbon flavor with a ton of heavy peat smoke. There you go. Okay. This is the one that I'm very, very excited about. Oh, whoops. Yeah, here it is. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of the sip. But the other one that I got here that I think is going to be a real winner, if it's anything like the Batch 3 in terms of how well they balance it, this is the USA Batch 5. And so what we're getting with this, as I mentioned earlier, 25% Sauternes cask influence, 70% bourbon barrel, 5% sherry. And so basically they have vatting of their bourbon and sherry Kilchoman, which is at 46%. And then they have a cask strength barrel, one selected Sauternes cask that they have at cask strength. They've added the three together. Helpful information they give you on these bottles. Let me see what's going on. See you Tuesday, man. Enjoy. It's fajita night over at the Page household. Good deal. Enjoy those, man. The Aaron is American oak sherry, more European oak. The Aaron has grapefruit on the nose, which is a fresher fruit thing. But they're more similar than you would think. Well, especially the fact that you said that that's one of those Allardyce bottlings that's like in the, that's older than it's, it's not just all 18. We know the youngest whiskey, there's like 23 years for the 2018 version. So that's a statement. I mean, I guess you'd expect a little more freshness off the Aaron in comparison, but that's an interesting thing to note. I have yet to have that Aaron 18. I keep hearing good things about it. Yeah, this bottled and bond is such an interesting release. It's just so seldom you have such a relaxed Kilchoman on the palate. And this is probably just in part because we're getting some decent age on this. Like I said, this has a 9-year age statement on it. I think that's what really sealed the deal for me on this. I don't think I would have bought this if it was just another NAS release. I'm not sure it would have brought everything I would have, wanted, but I thought maybe the age would bring a little complexity. What I think it's done is it's just tamed this a bit, but I'm not getting a ton out of it. But we'll see. Again, I'm biased. Wheated bourbon's not my favorite thing in the world, so. Hope you and Antonio Whiskey Quest meet up in sometime. Yeah, that would be so great. We have connected on YouTube, so I'm hoping that at some point in time we can translate into maybe meeting up and doing a sample swap, or maybe even do a live stream. I don't know. It would be cool. But yeah, hoping to connect with him. It was cool to find out that he is also here. You know, who else is in this area is Silverlock. I think he's up in the northwest suburbs, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to figure that out sometimes too, man. Hopefully we'll get the opportunity. Okay. So solid on the bottom of the bond, a little bit pricey. I like the age statement, but wheated bourbon is not really my thing. We'll see where it goes. 3.35 on the prelim score. So this is the number 5 USA batch Kilchoman. Very excited about this one. So they've done 4 previous ones. These are all non-chill natural, 48.3%. And like I said, they took their regular, the bourbon and sherry maturing Kilchoman that they have around the distillery, and took a Sauternes cask that they have a cask strength, vatted it together into this bad boy. 23%, 25% Sauternes, 70% bourbon, 5% sherry. Non-age statement on this. Ooh. Oh boy. This is the first time I've ever had Kilchoman in a Sauternes with any Sauternes maturation. Now I know that there are, they do have some releases. They have a Sauternes, exclusively Sauternes release, if I'm not mistaken. I've never had it though. So this will be my first foray into it. And, Sauternes, kind of dessert style whiskey, sweet, kind of on the apricot orange fruitiness, a little nuttiness to it as well. I've never had a lot of it in my life, but that's usually what you get out of it on the whiskey. Here is the color. Again, natural. Looks pretty nice. And right away, it's making its presence known. Fresh fruit. There's a little bit of a fermented note, like a fermented grape. Fresh fruit, a little bit of vanilla. Not as heavy on the smoke on the nose as it was on the bottle of the bond. Fresh though. It smells really, really nice. A little almond note, a little bit of like a marzipan almond type thing. Maybe a hint of bitter and a hint of earthiness. Yeah. All right. Let's give it a taste, lunch, y'all. Wow. The intensity is much higher on this one. A little bit more rougher on the edges, of course, as you expect. This one's a little bit lower in age, I'm sure. The nose was good. The initial palate and development, really nice. Oranges, apricot, big. Vanilla and chocolate kind of in the background. A little bit of cinnamon spice. You get the nice peat hit, which is kind of like more on the chili pepper side. And then you're left with a little ashiness and a like biscotti. If you ever had a biscotti, like a biscotti with chocolate in it, that kind of yeasty bread note, and a vanilla cream just kind of rolling out. No medium finish, shorter finish on this one for sure. Let's do another sip. This is a really nice, it's much juicier, which I guess you'd expect. It's just a little bit shorter. Everything's shorter. Development's shorter. Finish is shorter. Chocolate chips. White chocolate. Let's try a little water on it. So these USA batches retail around $80 US, 75 to 80 bucks. Really? I do have a Ford. I'll look that up. Good to know. Very cool. Thank you, Donner Pass. I'll check that out. Yeah. Okay. Again, a lot more on the yellow fruit, kind of white grape stuff coming through here. And the water is turning it up a bit. Very nice. So far, I'm really impressed with the nose on this. It's very, very enjoyable. Nothing is really overpowering anything else. I think it's the right amount of each cask influence on this. The sherry is very little, very, very barely detectable here. Again, light, very light. And it takes a while to develop. It's one of the things I kind of like about Kilchoman. You're not blasted right away in the face with the intense peat smoke or the effervescence of the peat. These seem to develop in a way where you really taste the spirit in the cask, and then the peats are a lot more on the back end. And that's definitely the case, again, this one too. Light, fruit, sweet. Then you get this peat smoke. Again, it's not as intense as it was on the bottled and bond, or the bourbon what is it called? Bourbon influenced batch, but of course they're playing homage to bottled and bond. Yeah. Again, another very relaxed. I mean, this is almost like a summertime whiskey. This is not necessarily the one that's going to keep you warm in the dead of winter. And that grape note. This is getting better with water. Chocolate, oatmeal, that kind of thing. Oh, wow. That's super cool. Awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I constantly, what do they say about Ford? Fix or repair daily is what it is as an acronym. It's been the case a couple times. So this is a point of comparison. It's a completely different whiskey in many respects. But just on my personal flavor palette, I'm going to compare that batch 5 here with this batch 3. This batch 3, of course, was this one is port, bourbon, and sherry. So we'll do a little dram of that after. So far, from what I recall, and I haven't had a sip of that in a while, I think that one is probably would edge this one out. But I appreciate this. It's got a nice subtlety. It's well made for sure. Just doesn't quite check all the boxes for me. It doesn't have the robustness. That's the way I put it. And we still got a few folks in the chat, which is great. I know I'm on at a weird time, but Donner Pass in particular, I would love to hear if there are any Kilchomans that you have been just a huge fan of. I mean, I know you mentioned, or Andrew mentioned the Loch Gorm, which is probably one that I would say is my favorite of their regular releases, but I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about that. Okay, I'm going to pour a bit of this, the batch 3, just to get my bearings on which of these styles I like better. I'm pretty sure I know, but as a point of comparison, this is the color of that one. Natural color too, port, bourbon, sherry. Yeah, God, I wish I could get another bottle of this. Huge, huge nose. Surprise, red fruits, berries, raisin, plum, but most of it's skewing more fresh. The raisin's really the only darker fruit note you get on this one. Hmm. Yeah. It's just a bigger event. Oh, man, that's good. This is good to know. This is kind of helping me gauge what from Kilchoman that I really enjoy. I knew that the Loch Gorm was probably one of the releases of theirs that, or their core range that I think I gravitated to the most. And now comparing this USA Batch 3 here with the new one, Sauternes Batch 5, I again seem to want to gravitate more towards the heavily sherried Kilchoman. I think I would choose this USA Batch 3 over the bourbon influence that we tried before and the new Batch 5 USA Batch. I don't know if it's that it's the type of bourbon casks they use or what, but I feel like in the case of these two, it just comes off as a lighter whiskey that doesn't, and I don't mean that in necessarily a negative way, it just doesn't completely grab my attention the way I think I'm already thinking about when I'm going to have a heavily peated whiskey, especially with Kilchoman because they're so young. I mean, most of these are under 10 years old for sure. This one, I just feel like they know how to do sherry. I feel like that's just their strong suit. I mean, this port cask, this is bourbon barrel port cask and sherry. Like, man, it just seems to have more happening. Fresh, bold. Wow. So I don't know. What do you think? Oh, you're talking the automotive guy. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's interesting. Neither of these have a very long finish. But I'm not even sure it really matters. Actually, to be honest, I have never seen what the Kilchoman USA Batch 4 was, which I obviously missed. So let's do a quick look and see if we missed out on something here. Here it is. Yeah. Okay, so this one was 30% aged in Madeira. 30% of its aging time was Madeira cask. The rest is bourbon cask and a little bit of Oloroso. Okay, so they did a bourbon cask for their, or a Madeira for the Batch 4, port for the Batch 3, and now Sauternes for the Batch 5. Interesting. Oh boy, Vanessa Kitty's in the house. What's up, Vanessa? Great to see you. Hope all is well. You having a good weekend? I caught up with you briefly. What was that? Last Thursday? This past Thursday on Rod's beer show. It was fun. Hope you're well. Just sipping a couple new whiskeys that I picked up this weekend from our friends over at the Kilchoman Distillery on Isla, the farm distillery on Isla. This is a 9-year-old bottled in bond bourbon influence batch, which is paying homage to the bottled in bond bourbons of America. And then this is a triple matured small batch released for the United States with Sauternes whiskey or Sauternes wine, bourbon cask, and Oloroso sherry. We're sipping a couple good whiskeys. Pie doughs. Yeah, it is that time. What kind of, you're making apple pie? Pecan? What you got? Yeah. I hear you on that. I'm hoping that there is a pie awaiting me for my Thanksgiving, which is coming up just around the corner. Beaming his signal from Belgium. It is Whiskey Lovers Society. What's up, brother? How are you? Good to see you. I just threw together a little impromptu Kilchoman whiskey tasting, so that's what's going on here. How you been? Kilchoman is so good. Sean Anthony Willis interviewed, and he said the master distiller that helped him start up got him connections for very good casks that he still uses important for young whiskey. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of damn sense. Their casks clearly, you know, for a distillate that's been so young, you're absolutely right. I mean, casks are king. That's been proven with the Octomore stuff, you know. It's good to know. Good to see you, man. apple, mincemeat, and whatever else I could find to stuff in some. Vanessa Kitty has got pies galore happening. Another friend from Belgium. It's Carl. Hey, Eric, watching the Cox Cardinals game with one eye and your live stream on the other. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate that I can even hold space between you and your beloved Seahawks. And I do apologize for what my Packers did last week to them. Well, I don't, but you know. We had lost a heartbreaker today, so you know how it all goes. And folks saying hi to Whiskey Lover Society. Great. Yeah, so just to recap for folks who are just coming on, we got 8 folks in, which is great. I was just trying 2 new Kilchomans that I got my hands on. These are both United States releases. The small batch, this is the second one I had with the Sauternes. Again, this is in that 32535 range. Price on these is a little heavy. Whereas, as I was just doing a comparison with the Port Wine USA batch 3, which I think is more of a 3754. I just think it's bringing a little bit more. I think what I'm learning about myself is that when it comes to Kilchoman, either I got to go cask strength or look for things with sherry, because I just feel like I really like the robust, punchier young Islas, and Kilchoman, I don't know, they're not quite as much of that. Their peat reminds me more of like that kind of fresh citric honey barley, which is like a la Kalila, which is probably not necessarily my favorite style, but for my folks here in the United States, if you can get your hands on the USA Batch 3 still with the port, do it. That is a really good whiskey. But both of these are very competent. I'm going to be looking forward to digging into these a little bit more, and we'll probably do full reviews eventually of these. So yeah, again, the Bourbon Influence batch is paying an homage to bottled and bond heritage in the United States, and is 9 years. So they have an age statement on this. That is very exciting. I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some age statements coming out of Kilchomans, or more of them at least, which is very, very exciting. They're so good with everything else. They were just a young distillery, so I get it. I wasn't judging their NAS releases too much, but now that they're getting up there and they're able to start putting age statements on stuff, I think we're in a really good position over the next couple of years to start trying some serious Kilchomans. We'll see how that spirit, sitting in the cask for 13, 14, 15 years is going to play. And I'm very excited for that. I think that this is where we want to go with them. I think some of the releases they've done over the years have been hit and miss. And like I said, it's not a slight on their craft. It's more of just my personal preference. I think there are some that I've had that, I had the Pheno cask that was recently out. That didn't really do much for me. I had the a single cask sherry, which I think was like an 11-year-old or something like that. It was really strange. I do have a couple others here that I've not opened, but I'm going to get into eventually. So this is the 6th edition USA batch. It's 6 years old, 100% Isla. We'll do that one eventually. That's from 2016. This is the one I'm actually afraid because I'm going to be disappointed in it. This is a single cask sherry cask strength release from Kilchoman. This one is bottled at, I'm afraid to open it. I just feel like this is going to, as much as I've been talking here about how much I love the sherry stuff. So this is 6 years, 5 years. I had one of these ones before in a sample, and I just did not like it. So I thought it didn't taste anything like it should. So I'm a little bit afraid to open this one, but I'll do it eventually. I do have a Mocker Bay cask strength, not the actual distillery release, but it's a release from it's actually a release from a tour they did here in the United States in 2016, where they were going around and they were kind of handing out they were selling bottles to some different liquor stores here in the Midwest part of the States that were cask strength. So before they put the cask strength Kilchoman out on the market to buy. So that's really great. And that one I bought a couple bottles up because I was able to get my hands on it. And then I saw that they put out a cask strength, they put out a cask strength release through the distillery, which is great. I'm glad folks got the chance to try the cask strength because I was giving out samples left and right. I was like, you got to try this. It's incredible. All right. Yeah. So if you're on Instagram, I'm not sure if you are. Yeah, I can send you a picture of that. He basically has taken to, the backseat cushions of a couch. So I have a blanket that I keep up, which is supposed to be the human blanket, not the cat blanket. So what he does now is he pushes over one of the back cushions of the couch, makes a little nest out of it, and sleeps on it. So that's what he's doing right now. This is a new thing. It's always something every week. He's becoming an adult cat, so his personality is just showing up all the time. SMWS, Kilchoman is great for the transparency. The tags hanging on the bottles are because of SWA are jerks and threaten penalties for disclosure, so it's not on the label. Makes sense. Are you serious? Really? Wow. That I didn't know. That's interesting. So, I mean, some of these seem to have a lot on the labels. But I do know what you're talking about. I know I've seen like the Loch Gorm release comes out, which is the fully sherry matured one, comes out with they always have like a tag on it. But these ones didn't. I don't know. That's interesting. Whiskey Lover Society. Just bought my first, it'll be your first Kilchoman, a Mockerbay collaborative vatting. Ooh. Still need to open it. It's that sounds fantastic. I wonder what that is. Yeah. Let me see if I can show you the one that I have. It's back here somewhere. Okay, here it is. So it came in a regular old Kilchoman Mockerbay box. But I bought 3 of these because I was just like, this was before I realized they were even releasing a cask strength. So here it is. So this one is from the Meet the Pete Tour 2019, which was going on in the States, and it's a 58.6 cask strength Mockerbay. This is fantastic. And they didn't, I don't think it was like a rep, but they were just selling these at select places around the States. So I grabbed 2 of them or 3 of them because I was like, shit, I'll never get a chance to buy this. And then what happened a year later, they released a cask strength. So, it is what it is. Roy says, I have a Christmas-themed Mockerbay cask strength. Oh, wow. I wonder if that's the one I'm referring to or if that's something special entirely. Are you in the U.S. or are you outside the States? Maybe there was some type of special release. Christmas-themed. Interesting. I'm into it. All right, we got 10 folks in, which is great. Yeah, so long story short here on these Kilchomans, I think I'm going to move on. I think I actually might have another dram of that Bottled and Bond 9-year just because I'm so damn interested in this. I'm so interested. This is the first time I've had a Kilchoman that's been probably over 6 or 7 years old. I really just want to get this down a little bit so the oxygen starts working. I want to see what else I can get out of this. I really do. This is one of the things that excites me about where this distillery is at, is because they're starting again with these age statements, because they're getting to the point where, they're putting more and more age statements on stuff. Roy says, pictures of sheep and Santa hats. You got it from the EU. Oh, you're in the EU. Okay. Right on. Well, thanks for joining us. Interesting. I wonder if that was some type of exclusive release for the European market or something. That sounds great. Very cool. That is, I want to like this distillery. Generally speaking, I want to like this distillery more than I do. Every once in a while, I see some releases and I get so excited about them, and then I buy them, and none of them ever blow my mind. The last one that did was this USA Batch 3. These 2 recent ones, they're very competent, very solid, but nothing amazing so far. which is why I want to spend some time with the 9-year bottled in bond and get this down a little bit. And I want to let this oxidize for a month, and then I want to see what it brings to the table. Both of these again are United States only releases, but I'm very excited about this. I'll probably pop a review up in a couple weeks. Just want to give this some time. In fact, this will be sitting here without the cork on for a couple hours. There's complexity inside this. I know it. It's the wheated bourbon. But then again, the more I think about this, Laphroaig bottles most of their stuff in I think Maker's Mark cask, which is wheated. So part of me wonders, then it just comes out of the distillate. I mean, Laphroaig is just so much more intense than anything I've ever had from Kilchoman. God, butterscotch. Very pleasant. I'm going to keep that going. John or pass. We're at a special time for Kilchoman. You now have bottles with 9 to 12 years age on them. It's only going to get better. Yes, you nailed it, sir. Exactly. That is exactly what we're doing. We're on the precipice of solid age statements. I wonder if they're, it might be like Port Charlotte was. For a while the Port Charlottes didn't have age statements, and now they have that 10-year-old that they put out consistently. I wonder if B.I.B is going to move to a 10-year-old age statement, something like that, to try to compete with our Ardbeg and Laphroaig. Because that one's even more competitively priced than the Port Charlotte is like $20 more than I think the Ardbeg or the Laphroaig. So we'll see if they're going to try and throw their hat in the ring and see what the Kalila 12 is stupidly overpriced for what you get. I think that's the worst value of the introductory Islas, in my opinion. You don't get nearly what you should for a whiskey that has went from upwards of $80. Yeah. I like Kalila. I mean, I do. There are some Kalila releases I really, really enjoy, but that 12-year-old to me is just really misses the mark in a lot of ways. It's not worth the price. I mean, it is here in the States, that whiskey is upwards of $25 more than Ardbeg 10, which to me is just absolutely asinine. Yeah, I bought one bottle. I will not buy another. It's chill filtered. It's colored. It's 43%. And honestly, it just doesn't quite bring the thunder. I'm hoping. I mean, I already think the B.I.B, even at NAS, is a whiskey I would drink over the Kalila 12. I'm very excited to see if they're going to start putting age statements on it, though. Because we're getting to that point. If their stocks are high enough, we may be looking at, Kalila, or I'm sorry, 10-year-old B.I.B age statements. Beaming the signal from Vancouver, it's Indy. What's up, buddy? Hey there. Has the Laphroaig Batch 13 gotten better? Let's find out. Let me finish up this bottled bourbon influenced batch, aka bottled in bond Kilchoman with this. I'll pour some. It's a PD Sunday here on Mount Muser Whiskey Reviews. And I hope everybody else is enjoying their Sunday too. I only buy Kalila from Indies. Kalila 12 is pretty weak. Exactly. I'm increasingly of that opinion. I had a Berry Brothers in Rudd 11-year-old castrate Kalila, which was cheaper. And I bought this at a Total Wine and Spirits here in the United States, which is like a big chain place. Cheaper than they had right next to it, the Kalila 12, which is 43%. I bought it. It was like $55. It was so good. It almost made my top 5 whiskeys of the year last year. I completely agree with you on that. I think that that's the only way to fly. Well, not the only way to fly, but it is. I think that the Kalila 18 is one I want to revisit. I have a bottle of Kalila 25 distillery release, which is quite good, even though 43%. But generally speaking, yeah, independent bottlings of Kalila is the way to go. And I think it's mostly just because, They don't chill filter, and it's natural color, and it's at a higher ABV. Like Kalila's big problem is like their whiskey is it was a blender's whiskey, and the 12 is overpriced. If the 12-year-old was $60, $55, okay. But it's like $80 here. $75, $70 sometimes. The cheapest. I'm not going to pay that much for a Kalila 12 ever again. Screw that. It's not that good. Yeah. Yeah. No, right. And like, you're right. Like a whiskey should be good at 43%. Fuck, a whiskey should be good at 40%. And I'm not saying that Kalila 12 is bad. It's just not worth the money. I just don't even bother. Like it's not worth the money. I mean, if you're going to buy a young Islay Scotch, pocket the extra $20 and get yourself an Ardbeg 10. Ardbeg 10 is the gold standard. Followed by Port Charlotte, followed by Laphroaig, in my opinion. If I was going to, I think I did a video on this. I would score them. Ardbeg 10 is a 4.25 whiskey. Port Charlotte 10 is a 4. Laphroaig 10 is a 3.75. And I'm maybe being generous on the Laphroaig 10. But if you want to spend $55, $60 on a good 10-year-old, heavily peated Islay whiskey that's going to punch you in the face, Ardbeg 10 is the gold standard, in my opinion. It's so crazy, dude. I'm not even kidding, man. Like, hang on a second. Let me just throw it in the old wine searcher here. Like, I was at Binny's. I'm streaming from Chicago, Illinois, and I was at Binny's, dude. They're selling even Internet Wines, which is a place that ships within Illinois, $70. And this isn't some Illinois thing. This is the same thing everywhere. $70 to $80 for Kilchoman 12. Fuck that. There is no way that whiskey is worth that much. It's probably, I wouldn't even pay $60 for that. I really wouldn't. It's so languid. But they're 15-year-old unpeated. I have a bottle of that I'll open up soon. Good stuff. They're 18-year-old, solid, okay. The 25, pretty damn good, even though, you'd like to see it at a higher ABV, but whatever. Their 25 is good. I have a couple fee seal bottlings too that I got to get into, but as Troy mentioned earlier, independent bottling is the best thing that you can get with Kalila. There's no doubt about it. Berry Brothers and Rudd. Is it Cadenheads? I'm not sure if Cadenheads is the other one that I see a lot of clues. Oh, the other one I see a lot of them from is Gordon MacPhail. Gordon MacPhail and Berry Brothers and Rudd have tons of Kalila independent bottlings that oftentimes will be cheaper than the core range stuff at comparable age that are killer. Like I said, I had a Berry Brothers and Rudd 11-year-old last year. That was divine. And then I had the 12. And I think I posted a review of it. I was not nice to the 12. But again, I take price into consideration. I find it impossible to not. And at the price you're seeing Kalila 12 for right now here in the U.S., come on, man. I don't know who it's going to appeal to. I mean, you could pay $10 more and get a Lagavulin. I mean, Lagavulin 16 is $100 in the U.S. now, which is insane. But like literally, at some places you might find it for $90. You could spend $10 more and get a Lagavulin 16, which is an exponentially better whiskey than the Kalila 12. Yeah, so I'm a bear on that one. Yeah. Well. Yep. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. That's that. Yeah. Laphroaig 10 you can get here in the States for you'll be $60 is the max you would pay for it. You can find it cheaper than that. And there you go. I mean, like, what else can you say? I'm not trying to hate on Kalila. I'm literally just saying that their 12-year-old is bullshit. And for the price. If it was $60, okay, I would tick it up a half star. But literally, this this 9-year-old bottled in bond, 50% ABV bourbon influenced batch from Kilchoman is $10 more than the average price of a Kahlua 10 here in the United, or Kahlua 12 in the United States. This is incredibly better whiskey. Is what it is. We're getting past the neck. This is what I want. I'm going to leave this whiskey here uncorked, probably for 6 or 7 hours. I want oxygen to get after this because I feel like it's a little tight and a little bit simplistic for what I'm digging for. I'm digging in this 9-year-old Kahlua or Kilchoman. I really want to see what this can do. My prelim on this was a 3.25 to a 3.5. It's right in between. But I'm convinced, even though it's wheated bourbon cask, which is, I think, a detriment, instead of high rye bourbon, I'm suspecting that I'm going to get some complexity out of this. And that's what I'm hoping for. Indy, are you still in the house? Who was the birthday party? Who was the birthday party? Oh, are you talking about the bourbons that I posted? Oh, it was my stepfather. Yeah, it was his 73rd birthday. I was drove up to Wisconsin this weekend to celebrate with him. We had some, what did we drink? We drank a Koval single barrel, which is a whiskey distillery here in Chicago. Interesting thing about Koval, the second grain in their bourbons is millet. So, there's that. It was good. And then we had we opened a bottle of Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered, which I feel so fortunate that the liquor stores here in Chicago seem to get on the regular. That was really good. Better than I expected. So I had some really nice pours, was pouring some great beers. It was a nice celebration. Fun times. Carl, for Kahlua, I look for indie bottlings. Recently had a Kahlua 6-year-old finished in Pinot Noir, 58% phenomenal dram. Wow. Who was the bottler on that one? I would be interested to hear. That sounds fantastic. Pinot Noir. The only Pinot Noir I've ever had is a long row. That sounds great. Do let us know, Carl. Don't hold us in suspense, Carl. Okay, Indy, if you're still in the house, let's revisit it. Laphroaig 10 cast strength. Been sitting here for a while. We're past the neck door. I have not had a dram of this in probably 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to doing it right now. Thanks for mentioning it. The long and short of it is that I did do a video way back when. You can go check it out. Leave a negative comment or a positive one if you agree with me. But basically my argument, and again, I take cost into consideration in my reviews. They don't swing things one way or the other by a substantial amount of points, just 0.25. But I, in that video, have high praise for the annual release of Laphroaig 10 cast strength. And this is the latest one. This is 57.9%. Again, these are unchill filtered. It's interesting. They mentioned on the bottle. I wish all of their stuff was. Fake color? Probably. It's all ex-bourbon cask. I know they get their stuff from Maker's Mark. And what I was saying on this, I think I opened this on a live stream. I think I opened it on a live stream like maybe a month ago. My general vibe was it was better than the batch 12. And again, I want to be clear, like in terms of ratings, I have never had a Laphroaig 10 cast strength that I would put under 4. But the batch 10 or 12 was not one of my favorites. The batch 10 I loved. The batch 11 was somewhere in the middle. This one I think is on par with the batch 11, but I haven't poured any in a while. So we're going to do it right now. This is a shout out to Indy in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a Laphroaig. There's only one bottle, or distillery, I should say, whose signature puts a smile on my face bigger than Laphroaig, and that's Ardbeg. When I open a bottle of Ardbeg 10 or Ardbeg Uigeadail or Corey Vrecken, it's just like that deep maritime charcoal soot thing. You're just like, oh yeah. Laphroaig is similar, but Laphroaig, a little bit more on the medicinal side. Despite the lack of integrity that they have in their bottlings, which I just think is so stupid. I mean, why color this? Why would you put fake coloring in this? It's in a green bottle. Nobody cares. Whatever. At least they don't show filter. Yeah, Ardbeg 10, one of my favorite noses on the bottle ever. But here we go. Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength Batch 13. These are all ex-bourbon. I highly recommend you buy them if you want a Laphroaig. It is double the price of a regular Laphroaig 10, but quadruple the value and quadruple the flavor. It's not even a question. It's the best thing they put out annually, and I might argue the best thing that they put out in their core range that's affordable, period. I look forward to it every year, and this one, like I said, I think I was mentioning the Batch 12. And the thing about the Batch 12, and again, I really liked it, but it was more of a back-end peat smoke. It was more of a savory, meaty whiskey, which reminded me a lot of the Batch 7, whereas this one seems to be more in line with the Batch 11, Batch 10, which were like much more peat-in-your-face medicinal iodine. So let's see what's happened. This has been sitting here with some oxygen for a couple weeks. There's the fake color. Here we go. I mean, it's so rich. It smells rich. You know that you have something substantial in your glass. Barbecue, heavy iodine, dental office. TCP iodine, whatever the people call it. I don't really know what iodine smells like, but I know sterile. And beneath it, though, there's nice brown sugar, almond, chocolate notes popping up. It's just great. Wow, what a nose. What a fucking nose. So I will mention this. So again, this one, I know these are all aged in bourbon casks, but I will tell you, every release is good, but there's a difference between them. Some of them I have found more fruit and complexity. This one's in the middle. It's not as basic as what I thought the number 12 was, which again was last year's, and which I still recommend. But I still think it's not quite as at the level of the batch 10. Sweet barbecue, vanilla. Again, cleaning products. I know, right? Fuck. This is Laphroaig. That's what I would say about this. Here we go. God, so good. So good. It's everything aggressive and complex that you would want in a single, it's only matured in bourbon. There's no sherry, they're not messing around. This is just perfect. Heavy, intense. It's a 4.25 whiskey for sure. Especially at the price of around $90. Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength, y'all. Don't ever leave a liquor store without it if you don't have any. God, that's good. That is what it should be. My favorite Islay whiskey of all time, sans like weird special releases, but I am including Octomores in this, is the Ardbeg Uigeadail. But Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength is right there, and at times better. Islay Cask Company. The recent Corey Vrecken versus recent Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength. I haven't had a recent Corey Brecken. The most recent I had was 2 years ago, and it was amazing. I would still go with the Laphroaig 10 cast strength over Corey Brecken. A little cheaper, not always, but you're getting the age statement, integrity bottling for the most part. Horse apiece, man. Hospital in a yeah, right. Which is usually like not a positive thing, right? Like you wouldn't think of hospitals as a positive thing, but here we are. Roy says, the other day I opened a medicine cabinet and thought to myself, it smelled like Laphroaig. Oh shit, dude. That's the best comment I've read in a long time, man. I know what you mean. There. So this is really hilarious. I was pouring a sample of the Laphroaig cartridges of this year, and when I was pouring it, this was like a week ago. It spilled on my desk here, and I was cleaning it up and all this shit, and I had this damp paper towel which was soaked in Laphroaig, and I threw it in my garbage can. And I haven't taken my garbage out yet because I just don't have that much garbage. And I went over there today to like dump some stuff in it. I opened it up and I was like, holy shit, is there a bottle of Laphroaig in here? I was like, oh, that's what that was. It just took over. And now I'm starting to think if I need an air freshener for my garbage or my cat, just a little half shot of Laphroaig, just dump it right in. It'll take care of everything. Too funny, man. Too funny. I feel you. Yeah, I mean, this okay, so to Indy's question, has this gotten better? Yeah. Look, again, I mean, it's really hard. Like, I think there's just good batches and better. I still think the 10 is the best one I've had in the last couple of years, but I would buy this without hesitation. These are under $100 in the US, $85 to $90. Similar price to this bottled and bond Kilchoman, and this, in my opinion, is just much more interesting. Yeah, I think you buy this without hesitation. It's much more peat forward. It's much punchier than the 12. What was the ABV again? Yeah, 57.9. Do it. You won't regret this. Again, you'll never. This is as hard as this is in these days, this day and age, man. Like, there are a few whiskeys that you'll just never regret buying, and Laphroaig 10 cast strength is one of them. I can maybe count on one hand how many of those actually exist. Laphroaig 10 cast strength, Ardbeg Ugadal, Laphroaig 10. What other ones can you always buy with confidence that they're going to be at the right level? I want to say Glenallachie 12, but there's a lot of fluctuation in the maturations, and I just can't speak to it. Probably the Glenallachie cast strength 10, even though there's a lot of wild maturations with that, but they've all been stellar. You'll always feel fine about buying that. You'll always feel fine buying a Port Charlotte 10. I'm trying to think of non-peated stuff. I mean, non-peated stuff that's economical. Glengoyne 12 and Glen Scotia 15. Those are whiskeys that you can definitely have. Between the CS batch 12s and the samples you sent, I'm becoming a late blooming Laphroaig buy. You need to pick with care, but some great stuff. You nailed it. Oh yeah, that's a good bottle. And you have 3 batch 13 Laphroaigs, my man. Indy's not playing. So yeah, to Donner Pass's point here, yeah, I love Laphroaig. I mean, despite they're stupid. Let's not even say questionable. It's stupid. There's stupid practices regarding chill filtration and coloring. They have a lot of whiskeys that aren't worth buying, but the ones that are really good. The Cartridge line, really good. I don't think it's really ever failed. In the last 2 years were a little bit, they're okay. But the new one is good with the PX. The 10 cast strength is great. Their older releases are great. If you can get old 18s, the Lore, one of the best NAS whiskeys you'll find if you like peated whiskey. Yeah. What can you do? I love it. I love Laphroaig. Yes. Carl, you're absolutely right. The batch 5. Fuck, blew my mind. I'm looking forward to. I know the batch 6 is out, but you can't find it in the States. This stuff takes so long to get here. Roy says, didn't Laphroaig's master distiller just quit? What now? Well, retired. Yeah, John Campbell's gone. Who knows? They're going to bring somebody else in. Maybe it'll be somebody who tells them that they don't need to put fake color and chill filter all their fucking whiskey. Sorry. You can tell I'm a bitter Laphroaig. I have a love-hate relationship with them. Agreed. I think the batch 5 is fantastic. And, you know, in less than just about a month from now, I'll be dropping my top 5 whiskeys of the year. You should expect to see Glenallachie 10 batch 5 on there. My first Lore is coming home tomorrow. Yeah. Lore, dude. Lore's been an interesting one, right? So, like, right when I got into Scotch is when Lore came out, and that was when they discontinued the 18-year-old, and Lore's kind of the replacement. It's this NAS whiskey, and the first batch they put a bunch of old stuff in, so everybody got into it. I will tell you, and I think I can vouch for this. I had a bottle of Lore 1 year ago, and I still think it's a great whiskey. It is very designed. It's very much like, I've never had a whiskey where it was like, you could literally just like, if you were recording a video of it, you could put the time notes of like when it jumps from one cask maturation to the other in terms of how you experience it. Because it's just like, oh yeah, there it is. Oh, okay, now that's coming through. Oh, that's fantastic. But it's still good. I think that people have warmed up to the Lore over the years because, you know, at first people were salty. It's non-age statement and all that, but look, there's good on non-age statement whiskeys. I wish they had age statements, but they don't. Goodall, Corey Brecken, Laphroaig Lore, just to name a few. Those are all damn good whiskeys. I will be very curious to hear what you think about the Lore Donner Pass. I'm a huge fan. I have actually never done a review of it. I should do a Lore review. I think I have a bottle. Maybe 2. I'm not sure. I should do it, though. I can tell you, going into this Laphroaig 10, this is the newest one, batch 13. Very, very bourbon cast dominant. A lot of vanilla. I mean, this is not the most complex Laphroaig gin cast strength I've had, but you'd be remiss to not buy it because this is an Islay whiskey at its finest. Regardless of the God, that's so good. Regardless of the release. Oh my God, that's terrifying. I hope not. Yep, 100%. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what the Lore has that has quarter cask, it has the traditional ex bourbon, and it has sherry in it, right? I think it's one of the best NAS whiskeys I've had. I think when I did a video for those that are interested of like my top 5 Laphroaigs, and if I am not mistaken, the Lore was on that list. It wasn't my number 1, but it was on that list precisely for the reasons just mentioned here by Carl. It's just a damn good dram, man. Like I think it's foolish to say otherwise, and I get why people who were homers for Laphroaig and homers for whiskey back then. I mean, I would lament it too if you saw like whiskey blowing up and all of your stuff is going NAS. What the fuck? I sympathize with that. But the lore's not a joke. Let me actually look. Hang on a second. Oh, that wasn't hard. Oh, shit. Not only one, but two. Lore. Let me see if they put a scan date on these. I don't believe that Laphroaig does, because, they're not into transparency over there. Nope. Not on that one. Let's check this one out. But it's 48%. Oh, man. Wow, there's still bubble wrap in this. Okay. It's a beautiful bottle. This is a UK bottling. This one also a UK bottling. Okay. Let me see. Do they have a date on these? No. Well, there you go. Whatever. Again, there has been some chatter that I've seen over the last couple of months. It's unsubstantiated that the lore was going to get discontinued. I've not seen that. And I would love it if it was discontinued only if it was being replaced by the 18. But, oh, wait, I was wrong. But I have never seen anything to substantiate it beyond what the speculation is. So I'm not sure it's true. Let me actually look. Okay, so there is a date on this one. So this one is $2255092. Fuck, I don't know if that actually makes any sense to me. Maybe they're not as normal with it. Okay, this one says 0950. Yeah, these numbers don't make any sense to me. I'd have to look up what these mean. Sorry. They're not like Glendronach or Springbank where they actually put apparently dates you understand on them. Nonetheless, buy lore. You will not be disappointed. I'm not going to say it's your favorite Laphroaig, but it's a damn good Laphroaig. It's a very refined Laphroaig, and it's a Laphroaig that commands respect, and I think y'all would probably really like it. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Okay. Anywho, let me get back to where we're at here. Got 11 folks in. Cool. For Lore's fantastic. My favorite cherry Laphroaig. The Whiskey World has lore on sale right now. It's $88 total. Oh, that's a criminally good price. Roy's going for some lore himself. Okay. Share your notes with us, man. Fuck, maybe I should do it. Should I open a lore right now? Let me know in the chat. Should I just open a lore right now? I've heard that rumor too, but I've never seen it substantiated anywhere. I've just heard people saying it. Put a +1 or a thumbs up in the chat if you want me to just like uncork a lore right now and just drink some. I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm going to have something else, I think. I don't know. Okay, I'll give you all a minute. I'm going to go get some water real quick. We'll be right back. I have returned. What's up, y'all? And we are still rolling here on a Sunday fun day. A very rare occasion for me. What's going on in the chat? He's talking about bringing out some lore. Donner passes crack it. David Hong, what's up, David? How you doing? Carl says, all right, fuck it, I'm doing it. This means I'm going to have to finally get to my review of it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Laphroaig Lore. I feel like it's worth reading all the flannel bullshit on here because I don't quite remember what it all says. Blah, blah, blah. Master Distiller John Campbell. Okay. Lore, meaning the passing of a skill or tradition through word of mouth, is the story of how we make one of the world's richest single malt whiskeys. They say this is the most richly flavored of all single malt whiskeys, or all Scotch whiskeys. Take that for what it's worth. Rich and deep with distinctive smoke, peat, and seaside minerality, it is unmistakably Laphroaig. This is a result of liquid being drawn from a selection of aged casks, including, and this is where it gets important, including first fill sherry casks, smaller quarter casks, and our most precious stock, capturing the timeless passion and very essence of Laphroaig. This is our story. This is Laphroaig Lore, non-chill filtered. Fake color, though. Non-chill filtered. Non-age statement, non-chill filtered. But that is the story of Lore. So we got quarter casks. We got first fill sherry. And presumably ex-bourbon. Here we go. Let's fucking do it. Happy Sunday. Laphroaig Lore. It has been at least 3 years since or 2 years, did I say, or 3? 2 or 3 years since I've had this. It's been a while. But I've always remembered enjoying this, and I'll never forget my first bottle of it. It was like I was stepping into a new world. It was my first, I think, spending over $100 on a bottle. And now it's weirdly underpriced. So let's see what they got going here. First fill and not seasoned sherry. Ooh, a respectable pop. Beautiful. Much more subtle. Much more subtle. That sherry is so much more dominant on here. And I love it. Laphroaig Lore. I don't think I'll get a review of this year. So it won't be potentially in my top 5 whiskeys this year, but I will try to get it maybe on a live show or a review early 2023 or 2022. Fuck. Oh man. I'm giddy. I haven't had this in a while, y'all. Let me know in the chat. What do you guys think about Laphroaig Lore? We got 12 folks in here. Ooh, tell me what you think about that. I do not have the 18. I've never had the 18, but I have the 21. It is. Oh, no, that's a signet. There it is. Right there. Okay. This was one of those bottles. I remember I bought this probably like midway. Well, not midway. That doesn't make sense. Somewhat early in my journey, when I finally was like, I'm willing to spend over $100 on a bottle of whiskey. Remember that first time y'all broke the $100 seal, and now you're like, God, I wish I would pay less than that. I think we all probably went through a similar moment with that. But here I am with one of those bottles that's what did it to me. Much more sherry than I remember. I think much of the peat has dissipated, sadly. Bottle's been open for at least a year, yeah. If you haven't gassed it, yeah, that's probably going to be the case, yeah. This is a freshie. So Laphroaig Lore retails here in the U.S. $90 to $110. On the nose. Oh, that's good. The fruit and the sherry, this bottling is a testament to balance. And maybe they're playing a conservative. Everything's not turned up to 10. It's all turned up to like 6. You get a nice, sweet sherry fruit. It's almost PX-like. Smoke, iodine, medicinal notes in the background, but not overpowering. Balance. Stone fruits, plum, cherry, and then some pear. A little bit of saltiness. Full. It's not, if you're a Laphroaig fan, it's surprisingly non-aggressive. It is really trying to showcase everything in here. So the lore is literally what they were trying to say is like a little bit of all of the styles of Laphroaig since they came around, which was in the 1815. Honey, barley. Harmonious. Here we go. That's the fake colored Laphroaig Lore, or at least what we think. Slash y'all. A designer whiskey for sure. This was meticulously designed. The phases of the casks that they want you to taste, you taste as if they are chapters in a book. It arrives. One more taste, just to make sure. Sweet sherry, red fruits, fresh fruit, not dried fruit, which means the sherry casks did not oxidize very long. Then traditional Laphroaig bourbon cask. Then peat smoke hit. Softer, but there it's smoky, it's prominent. Earthy, medium long finish of cherries, of honey melon, honeydew. Oh, good. But for your money, get the Laphroaig 10 cask strength. That's all I can say. This is a very refined, a very intentional whiskey. This is a very good whiskey. But if the choice is between spending $20 more for this or getting the Laphroaig 10 cask strength, I say go Laphroaig 10 cask strength every time. But I got respect for this. That's a damn good whiskey. 375. It's almost at the level where I would say you need to buy a bottle, but it's not quite there. My palate's also a little charged up right now because of all this Kilchoman and stuff. But this is a sophisticated. This is a surprisingly sophisticated whiskey in that its subduedness is only belied by its complexity. Laphroaig Lore. What an amazing nose. Get yourself some good sleep. Great to see you, man. Be well. Hopefully you can come by for Sunday Fun Day, or I'm sorry, Tasty Tuesday Happy Hour. It doesn't say that it's not, so I have to assume it is, which is unfortunate. You talked about putting the younger quarter cast in there, so it would have, yeah. Exactly. And honestly, Laphroaig has been doing that for quite some time. You notice this in the new Laphroaig Carchis quite a bit. If you've had the Carchis PX, I'm going to send you a sample of this. You will notice the influence of the quarter cast that they put in there. And I think it's a way for them to try to like sell young whiskey, but still make it robust. So you're like, oh yeah. You know, like it still has a hefty body. I think that's what the quarter cast is good for. Middle-aged bourbon is the best for fresh fruit. You know, 90% of my bottles are now cast. Well, yeah. I mean, once you know, why buy other things, right? Appreciate the 48% on here. They're clearly doing it because they're using young casks, no doubt about it. Or they're using young spirit, not cask. Nose is changing. Almond, marzipan, kind of walnut, kind of. There's a nuttiness to this now. Oh, man. It's like a Macallan in the sense of a designer whiskey. This is a fucking designer whiskey. Here we go. This is coming on the heels of just having the Laphroaig 10, lighter, more complex, interesting kind of honey oak note coming through now. Yeah. Yeah. Most richly flavored of all Scotch whiskeys. Have they ever had their own 10-year-old cask strength? I think the 10 cask strength beats this, but it's a good whiskey. This has a little bit more things going on in it. It's like if you want 100% of one thing or two things, go Laphroaig 10 cask strength. If you want 75% of four things, go Laphroaig Lore. Respectable whiskey. It's good. Yeah, I mean, I'll do a full review of this early next year. 375 is where I'm at right now. Yep. No, I've seen it. I was just over in where the fuck was I? I was just over in Paris, and they had that in the travel retail store. It was like 100 euros or 110 euros. I didn't buy it. I've avoided it. If you're ever in the travel retail though, and then you see the Laphroaig 4 Oak, which is everywhere, avoid that like the plague. It is worse than the Laphroaig 10 4 Oak is worse than the Select. Don't even bother. Do not bother. You will be so disappointed. That's a good idea. Where are you at if you're willing to share? I mean, you don't give me your home address, but let me know where you're at. I know you said that you're in the EU. It's too bad. You should be able to get it. It's the best Laphroaig you can get. God, now the bourbon cask is shining in this. Oh, Laphroaig Lore. God, that's a good whiskey. Denmark. Awesome, man. I don't know what the shipping things are for you, but I know like Whiskey World in the UK, Whiskey International Online in the UK, both has this now. And has the 10 cask strength, the new one. I don't know if they'll ship to you, but if they do, you can get them there. Yeah. Good call on making me open the lore. This might be my first review of 2021. I'm going to put it on the schedule. I got a couple other things coming up. By the way, if you are around on Tuesday, well, first of all, smash that thumbs up if you can. If you haven't already, if you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. On Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. West Coast US. I'm going to be doing an extended show. I have 2 bottles that I'm going to be tasting and chatting about. The new latest barrel reserve release from Glenmorangie. It is a 13-year-old cognac finish, which I'm very excited about, and 15-year-old Highland Park Viking Heart. So we're going to be checking that out. So I got those 2 lined up. You will find that video on my YouTube page. You can set up notifications for it if you want, but every Sunday, or pretty much every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be live, and I'm going to be looking to taste those with everybody. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. I'll hunt for it when I'm in Germany. Yes, do so, sir. Again, okay, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this lore, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody. I'm going to probably get signed off. I have a date tonight, so I gotta get ready for that. Can't be out here all night, gotta go live the life. But I really appreciate everybody hanging out. I hope you guys are having a great weekend and a great Sunday. To Carl, I guess go Seahawks. It is what it is. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings. Everybody stay safe, be well, and I will see you guys in about 48 hours for Tasty Tuesday Happy Hour, man. Much love to everybody. Slash.